Personality is different to temperament. In essence, an individual's temperament is generally viewed to be underpinned by genetic factors, and so reflects that individual's natural disposition. Personality is temperament modified by subsequent life events. It is also dynamic, which means that individuals with a healthy personality adjust the ways in which they interact with the world and other people depending on the cues. Any attempt to define personality strengths therefore needs to consider the extent to which it is an enduring characteristic in the individual, as well as the extent to which it is appropriately modified in response to environmental factors. The dominant model of personality in the literature is the so-called 5-factor model. This model assumes that all individuals occupy some position along dimensions underpinning 5 constructs. Thus, on the neuroticism construct, we would expect that an individual with personality strengths would score low on neuroticism, being generally calm and even relaxed under stressful conditions. On the openness dimension, we might imagine that those with personality strengths would score highly. They would have broad interests and be imaginative, as against showing opposite traits of being traditional and set in their ways. On the third construct, agreeableness, we would expect that those with personality strengths would score highly in terms of being compassionate, good-natured, eager to cooperate, and skilled in avoiding conflict, as well as being effective. However, the 2 remaining dimensions are not so readily positioned. For example, on the extroversion-introversion dimension, neither position necessarily defines a personality strength. Thus, if an individual wanted to work as a salesman or in the hospitality industry, there would be advantages to being extroverted, which is usually defined as being active, outgoing, high-spirited, and preferring to be around people most of the time. Conversely, if an individual sought to be a chess champion, then there might be advantages to being introverted, reserved, and not needing close friends, and thus being able to concentrate on the goal without social distractions. Similarly, for the conscientious dimension, those who score low on conscientiousness tend to be easygoing, preferring not to make plans, but not necessarily being very well organised, and often being quite laid back. To their friends, this might be viewed as a personality strength, in that they are easy to be around and they just don't fuss about things. By contrast, those who are high on conscientiousness have high standards, strive to achieve their goals, set their targets, and never cease to deviate from them. These are characteristics that could be seen as less than desirable personality strengths, in that the individual might be viewed by others as too anal retentive or too focused on perfection. On the other hand, would you not prefer your surgeon or airline pilot to be high on conscientiousness? Another way to approach the topic is to consider factors associated with well-being, or what is otherwise described as eudaimonic happiness. This involves ongoing modes of positive thought and behaviours that provide engagement and fulfilment, and are derived from Aristotle's concept of fulfilling one's true nature. There are a number of measures of well-being. Most measure the individual, judging how satisfied they are with their life as a whole, and asking them if they could live their life again, would they change almost nothing? People high on well-being affirm the proposition that they do not wish to change anything if they could live their life again. Other well-being measures look at the degree of socialization, equating that as equivalent to a personality strength. One such social capital measure has a final question which asks whether the interviewee agrees or disagrees with the proposition that, quotes, most people are honest, end of quotes. While seemingly quaint, this is an intriguing question. It suggests that people who are high on well-being and have personality strengths are open to the world, open to other people, and open to experiences, that they tend to take people at face value rather than face them in any guarded way. People that are high on well-being evidence their positive emotions across their thinking patterns, in the way in which they interact with the world in terms of play, exploration, and creativity. Studies of well-being have underpinned the field of positive psychology, and here there have been a number of identified character strengths and virtues. They include wisdom and knowledge, that is, being creative, curious and open-minded. In having courage, that is, in being brave, persistent, showing integrity and being vital. Being human, in being loving and kind. Having a sense of justice, in evidencing fairness. Being temperate, in being forgiving and showing mercy. Being humble and modest, as well as showing prudence and even transcendence, that is, appreciating beauty and excellence, showing gratitude, having hope, showing humour, and evidencing spirituality. Those with personality strengths that build to well-being tend to climb a ladder in life where they don't function simply at seeking a pleasant life, but more aspire to a good life, and even to a meaningful life over their career trajectory. In summary, it's generally judged that well-being is best achieved by showing reciprocity with others, by seeking purpose and meaning in life, rather than seeking material gain. It comes more from within and from relationships, rather than from, quotes, success. Theoretically, it might be expected that those with personality strengths would not have a personality disorder. A personality disorder is generally defined as having certain personality traits that are associated with the individual being ineffective and non-cooperative, and which cause the individual and or others around them to suffer. And yet, I would argue that a personality disorder can sometimes be a personality strength. Sociopathy is overrepresented in successful politicians. The tortured genius is overrepresented in successful writers, playwrights and composers. Theoretically, personality strengths should be associated with resilience, that is, the ability to bounce back quickly after hard times. But again, successful sociopaths possess this capacity at a level that others might find disturbing. So, while those with personality strengths should be resilient, resilience alone does not of necessity define optimal or admirable personality styles. These latter points raise the question as to whether, quotes, the end justifies the means. That is, should we judge the presence or absence of personality strengths by themselves alone, or, if as a consequence of the personality characteristics, something worthwhile is achieved? For example, in taking an extreme position, someone with great personality strengths may achieve little in life but be admired and loved, while someone with theoretically undesirable personality traits may achieve great things benefiting the whole community. Their strength may more be in their application than in their simple existence. Thus, rather than define personality strengths in a vacuum, I would argue for them being considered in relation to how the individual interacts with others around them, the culture in which they exist, and the extent to which the individual finds an ecological niche for their productive expression.